I just met with Elon Musk, and immediately after that meeting, I made a decision. I'm giving President Tinubu 24 hours. 24. Because what's really happening to Nnamdi Kanu is not justice. It's slow destruction. His health is fading. His rights are suspended. And time is being used as a weapon against him. This isn't about law anymore. It's about fear, control, and silence. And silence is exactly what powerful people rely on when they think the world isn't watching.
Hey you, yes you watching right now. Before you scroll, answer this honestly. Where are you watching from and what made you stop? This channel isn't here to waste your time. Every like tells the algorithm this conversation matters. Every comment keeps it alive. Every share decides how far it travels. If you're watching from Africa, Europe, America, or anywhere else, type it below. Let people see how global this moment is. Like this video. Share it with someone who thinks deeply.
I just met with Elon Musk, and immediately after that meeting, I made a decision. I'm giving President Tinubu 24 hours. 24. Now ask yourself this. How long does a man have to sit in a cell before the world admits something is wrong? How long does silence have to last before it becomes a crime of its own? And how many times do leaders hide behind procedure while a human being slowly breaks behind concrete walls? Because what's really happening to Nnamdi Kanu is not justice. It is slow destruction. It is deliberate delay. It is a quiet strategy designed to exhaust a man's body, his mind, and the spirit of the people he represents. His health is fading. That is not a rumor. His rights are suspended. That is not an opinion. And time is being used as a weapon against him. Time is the sharpest weapon when you are afraid to act openly. This isn't about law anymore. That argument collapsed a long time ago. This is about fear. Fear of ideas. Fear of identity. Fear of a people who refuse to forget who they are. This is about control. Control through detention. Control through uncertainty. Control through silence. And silence is exactly what powerful people rely on when they think the world isn't watching. Well, the world is watching now. Let me be very clear. Nnamdi Kanu is a Biafran. He is a son of a people with a history that cannot be erased by prisons or court delays. He is a leading voice of the Indigenous People of Biafra. What matters is that he is a human being entitled to rights that do not disappear because a government feels uncomfortable. Detention without resolution is not governance. It is cowardice dressed up as authority. What is happening to him recently should disturb anyone who still believes in law, fairness, and dignity. Endless adjournments, conflicting statements, medical concerns brushed aside, court orders discussed but not respected, a man kept in limbo while officials speak in circles. This is not stability. This is rot. This is what happens when power stops listening and starts hiding. I am angry because this pattern is familiar. I have seen it before. Governments delay because they think time will break resistance. They hope the public will move on. They hope the name will fade from headlines. They hope the man will weaken quietly so no one has to take responsibility. That is exactly what is being attempted here, and it is failing. After meeting with Elon Musk, after discussing information visibility and the power of platforms that expose truth faster than any closed-door meeting can suppress it, I decided that enough is enough. Technology has changed the game. The world no longer waits for official statements. People see, people record, people remember, and people are asking questions that cannot be answered with silence anymore. President Tinubu has 24 hours. This is not drama. This is not for show. This is a line being drawn. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Not tomorrow. Not after another committee. Not after another legal gymnastics routine. Release him and correct this wrong. Because let's talk honestly about what continued detention really means. It means you are afraid of what happens if he is free. It means you do not trust your own system to withstand open scrutiny. It means you believe force is safer than dialogue, and that is a dangerous belief for any nation. Nigeria is not weak. Nigerians are not weak. Biafrans are not weak. Strength is shown by confidence in justice, not by prolonged detention. Strength is shown by resolving disputes through lawful, transparent means, not by stretching them until they break a man. What message is being sent right now? That court orders can be ignored when inconvenient, that health concerns are negotiable, that political pressure determines who deserves freedom, that identity can be criminalized, that dissent equals detention. These are not small messages. They echo far beyond one prison cell. And let me say this clearly. The anger you see in my voice is not personal hatred. It is frustration with repeated failure to do the right thing. It is anger at watching leaders choose delay over courage. It is anger at seeing history repeat itself when it could have been corrected. Nnamdi Kanu is not disappearing. His name is not fading. His case is not going away. Every day he remains detained. More people ask why. Every act of silence fuels more resistance. This is not containment. This is escalation by neglect. The indigenous people of Biafra are not an idea you can imprison. Biafran identity is not something you can suspend with legal paperwork. History has shown again and again that suppressing identity does not bring unity. It breeds resentment, it breeds anger, it breeds instability, and it always ends badly. I am speaking now because leadership sometimes requires saying what others are afraid. This situation has crossed the line from complex to unacceptable, from legal debate to moral failure, from internal issue to international concern. You cannot claim respect for rule of law while selectively obeying it. You cannot speak of democracy while holding a man indefinitely under shifting justifications. You cannot preach unity while silencing voices instead of engaging them. The health of Nnamdi Kanu matters, not just medically, but symbolically. A state that allows a detainee's health to deteriorate while arguing technicalities is a state that has lost its moral compass. Time is not neutral here. Every day costs something. Every delay has consequences, and consequences do not ask permission. This is not a request. It is not a favor. It is not a suggestion wrapped in diplomacy. It is a demand rooted in principle and amplified by global attention. Release Nnamdi Kanu and begin correcting this injustice now, because history is watching. Not the edited version written by those in power, but the real history recorded by witnesses, journalists, technology, and memory. History remembers who acted when it mattered and who hid behind excuses. If this moment is ignored, it will be remembered. If this warning is dismissed, it will be documented. If this injustice continues, it will define more than one administration. It will define a generation of leadership choices. There is still time to choose differently. There is still time to de-escalate. There is still time to show strength through restraint and wisdom instead of fear. 24 hours. That is the window. Not because time suddenly matters now, but because it has already been wasted for too long. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Let the law breathe again. Let justice mean something again. Let the world see that leadership can correct itself before pressure turns into permanent damage. Because when consequences arrive, they arrive without asking, and they arrive carrying names, dates, and decisions. And no amount of silence will be able to rewrite that story. And understand this clearly. What is happening right now is being measured not just by supporters or critics, but by institutions, observers, investors, and governments who pay close attention to how power is exercised under pressure. Every nation is judged, eventually not by how it treats the comfortable, but by how it treats the inconvenient. Nnamdi Kanu has become inconvenient. That is the truth. Many refuse to say out loud. Keeping him detained does not weaken his message. It amplifies it. Every closed door creates 10 open conversations elsewhere. Every delayed hearing becomes another point of global discussion. Every ignored order raises the same conclusion in the minds of people watching, that fear has replaced confidence. Anger grows when people feel unheard. Anger grows faster when they feel deliberately ignored. And anger becomes dangerous when it is combined with the belief that the system is rigged against them. This is not theory. This is history repeating itself in real time. I am angry because this situation did not need to reach this point. It could have been resolved with courage months ago. It could have been addressed through dialogue instead of detention. It could have been handled with transparency instead of ambiguity. But instead, delay was chosen, silence was chosen, and now pressure is the result. Let me say something that some leaders hate hearing. Control is not the same as stability. Detention is not the same as peace. Suppression is not the same as unity. These shortcuts always look effective in the short term, and they always collapse in the long term. What happens when Nnamdi Kanu is released? The sky does not fall. The nation does not collapse. What happens is something far more dangerous to insecure leadership. People talk openly, issues are debated.
And that requires confidence. That requires leadership that is not afraid of its own citizens. The continued detention sends a message that the state does not trust itself, that it believes ideas are more powerful than institutions, that it fears conversation more than confrontation. That is not strength. That is insecurity wearing a uniform. I am not speaking for one group alone. I am speaking for the principle that no government should hold a man indefinitely